What's going on, y'all? It's your boy, Swope TCG. We're out here with that fire, that heat, that sauce, guys. Yo, I just got 9th place at the Atlanta Regional with K9 Azamina. Yo, guys, I'm amped up right now. I'm so amped up. And, first of all, I just want to shout out everybody that's been giving me the love, the support, all the people that have been hitting me up, coming up with ideas and blowing some creative ideas out there. This is what I'm talking about. This is the community I'm trying to build, a creative community. We all work together to make some creative options, not just the same old boring spreadsheet meta. Yu-Gi-Oh has advanced to the point, almost to the ways of Edison, to where deck building is now very crucial, and you can be a really good deck builder, mix some meta options with some rogue options, and come out on top like I did. And I probably would have won the whole thing if I had an SP. I wouldn't have lost a single game if I had SP, and I'll get into the whys as we get into the deck list. But I want to give a huge shout out to everybody out there that I met out there, a lot of great people. It was just so much fun meeting all of you guys, and I'm excited to keep building and learning together. I had 2 guys out there that had some really creative ideas, actually 3 guys, really creative ideas. One was pure yummy, but he did a bunch of tech options that were very unique. He had rescue cats. Shout out to Kyle. He had rescue cats in there. He had forbidden chalice in there, super poly, and then he would reset super poly with that link 2 light beast. So he was cooking. He was cooking. He came in 8th place. If he won his last matchup, I would have been in 8th place. So kind of upset he didn't win. He was my tiebreaker, but he was killing it. He was doing good. Me and him were hyping each other up. He was my loss. I lost to his yummy deck, and it was a phenomenal deck. I bricked, I also misplayed, and if I had SP, it would have been a lot different. But it was great time. I played 3 yummies, 2 VSK9, 2 Draco Tail, 1 Mitsu Rai, and a Feedsmith K9. And one of those it was 4 yummies, sorry. 4 yummies. One of those yummies, shout out to you. I added him to the channel, really creative guy. Really cool dude. He had yummy Primite. Guys, he was cooking, all right? Bro summoned out Vanilla, then brought out the Barrel Dragon, and then linked the Barrel Dragon and the Striker Dragon, and then started full yummy comboing. Bro is cooking. That's the creative stuff I'm talking about, bro. Mixing those meta options like that, that's exactly the ideas behind this and behind this community I'm trying to build. So shout outs to him. Really cool. The other guy, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. I have you in the channel. I was just talking to him on Facebook. But he had K9 Feedsmith, the other option that I was telling you guys I'm in the works of building. So I'm going to be talking to him and going over his build, and then when I drop the K9 the K9 Feedsmith build for you guys can take a peek at it yourself. That was by far my favorite duel of the whole entire event. We were going head to head. In game 3, it was a battle. We both had like 10 cards left in our deck. It was a straight grind game between K9 Azamina and K9 Feedsmith, and it was so good. It was such a great battle. So shout out to you, bro. That was my favorite duel the whole time. It was the most interactive duel, and it was the most fulfilling duel because it really was a grind to win, and it was just, we put it all on the line to get that. So really good duel. So shout out to all of you guys. Shout out to the rest of the community that's been supporting me and hitting me up in the comments. I love all of y'all. Thank you so much. And we're gonna keep building and growing this community. As it continues to grow, I will make a Discord for us so we can all chit chat together and come up with these creative ideas together, because there's so much we can do now, so much to work on. And I'll get into that at the end of the video. I know y'all are waiting for this deck profile, so I'll jump into this deck profile for you guys, and we're gonna cover the if and whats and buts, and then later on I will drop that combo guide for Azamina K9 for you guys, so you guys can see my thought process through the lines and through the hands that I get and how I use those to interact with people. But I'm really excited to get into this, guys. And I usually save this for the end of the video, but it seems smarter to say it at the beginning of these videos, so we're gonna switch it up. If you guys are watching this right now, pick your phone up, go outside, go get your steps in, walk around the block, get your activity on, guys, because we're not just trying to better ourselves mentally, we're trying to better ourselves physically, all right? Y'all don't need a gym membership, but if you got a gym membership, hit the gym. And then once you're done with your workout, go on the Stairmaster, go on your treadmill, and just put this video on, just walk. That's what I do, man. I'll be watching Yugioh videos while I'm just sitting on, like, doing my Stairmasters, or I'm on the treadmill doing my cardio, man. That's what I watch. And 20-30 minutes a day, even if it's only 3 times a week, guys. I mean, you're gonna better yourself so much. So, don't forget to take care of your bodies, not just your minds. All right. So let's go ahead and jump on in. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and jump on into this video. First up, we'll start with the engines, then we'll go non-engine, we'll go into the extra deck and then side. So for the Azamina portion of our engine, guys, we got the GOAT herself, one of my favorite cards in the whole entire game, 3 Black Witch. This card was absolutely phenomenal. When I saw this card with Case of K9, it was wraps on site. And then we got our 1 big Diabell, and a lot of people were not prepared for this card. Guys, most people did not realize this was a simple spoils card. A lot of people didn't realize this could be searched off of wanted. This card was so cracked it got me gamed twice. Literally because they didn't stop the wanted search because they thought I was going for Witch when I did Hallow Chain wanted. And I went straight into Saint, brought out my Omni Negate, and it was wraps from there. And then there was other time I had an Impermanent Talents in Grave, removed him from play, summoned her out, was popping his stuff, and just attacked him for game, and it was over. He just couldn't stop it. So, phenomenal card. This setup right here is so perfect. There's nothing we are going to change about the Azamina portion of the engine. Next up is going to be 3 copies of Wanted, the GOAT. Same thing, one of the best cards ever printed, one of the coolest artworks ever printed, very biased opinion, but absolutely maxed out on our 1-card starters. This card was absolutely phenomenal. I love seeing this card with anything. Next up, we got 2 copies of Deception. Deception put in work. I am thinking, I have a lot of non-engine, and there has been times inside the tournament where I drove 4 different non-engine, and then 1 starter like Case, and I just passed turn, even though I was going first. I was like, I have 4 non-engine, I'm gonna stop them. And I stopped them, my fluid drew me into engine, and then I drew more engine, and then my turn came, and I just absolutely cooked, so I am thinking about maybe possibly playing a 3rd, because getting Jokul to the grave is very important, and sometimes we can't get Jokul to the grave, and I'll go over that as we get into the that engine. 2 Hallowed Azamina. It is very important to run 2. Many people did not realize I was running 2. There was a couple times where I had Hallowed plus Deception. I activated Deception. If you guys haven't seen the Azamina combo guide, please go watch it. It'll help explain a lot of this in depth for you. I activated the Deception, and I had the Hallowed in hand already, and they stopped it, they asked it, and then I activated Hallowed, and it completely caught them off guard. And from there, it was just wraps. I full comboed on them. So they wasted an interaction on this. Having the 2nd target is just so imperative. And then on top of that, this card got removed from play so many times, and I was able to search the 2nd copy. And then so many people were like, wow, you played 2 copies of that? And I was like, yep. So this card is 2 Hallowed is absolutely mandatory, guys. Do not think you can run 1. You cannot run 1. I promise you, 2 Hallowed is always fine. You have enough simple spoils cards. It's never a brick. Next up, Slumber. This card got me several games. Slumber was just absolutely phenomenal. It is probably one of my favorite traps in the whole entire game. The fact that it can reset itself and recycle itself like that, and on top of that, the fact that this card is just a Book of Moon for special summon monsters, it was just so absolutely broken. I slumbered so many people, and it gave me game just because they could not do anything further. So this is just absolutely mandatory. This engine is perfect. I would not change it in the slightest. Every single thing about this engine was perfect. The only addition I would think about doing is running a 3rd Deception. We'll go into the K9 portion of the engine. This is where it gets very controversial. A lot of people don't believe in this card at all, and by far, I just want to say this right now, this is the best card inside the whole entire deck. For that tournament, Case of K9 was literally the best card I had for the whole tournament. It was the best starter. It was just so phenomenal to have this card inside my hand. Literally, I cannot tell you this and stress this enough. Every time I saw a Witch in a Case of K9 in my hand, plus 3 non-engine, I won the game. I won the game on the spot, because it is so easy to do. All I do is I activate Case. Case gives me whatever card I want, whether it's an Azuna if I know they're going to interact with me, or a Jokul because I know it's yummy and they're not going to interact with me. Then I have Witch right here. And then all you have to do is send the Case to the grave after you already plussed off of it, summon out Witch, and then you plus off a Witch, so you never neg. With these 2, you never neg, and it's just so phenomenal. It's such a great combo to have. Like, I can't stress this enough. this card was so absolutely cracked for this whole entire tournament, and I was very happy with it. 100% at 3 all time. Next up, 3 copies of Azuna. Azuna was absolutely amazing, and most of the matchups were minus Yummy. Every single Yummy matchup I played, they were all on the 9 trap combo or just mad spells, like droplets. So Azuna was never live, and it just sucked so bad. So most of the time during my siding patterns against Yummy, for Yummy, what I would do is I would take out 1 Hallowed, 1 Deception, and then 1 Azuna, and then I would put in like 3 Veilers. So that was typically my siding pattern when it came to Yummy matchups. And even in general, like for majority of my matchups going second, I would take out 1 Hallowed, 1 Deception. And depending on what it was, determined on the 3rd card that I would take out, it would like a VSK9, I would take out a Witch instead. And then I'd leave the Azunas because obviously the Azunas are going to be a lot more powerful inside that matchup. But with Yummy, Azunas are kind of a dead card. So taking out 1 Azuna was absolutely fine. The 1 Lupus, this card was glued to my hand all tournament, but it was actually pretty funny because one matchup, I activated Azuna, summoned out Azuna, and then I activated Azuna's effect. Even though I had Lupus in hand, I would just send like Yugioh to the grave or whatever. But he ashed the Azuna, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to bait out the interruption, and then I just specialed out Lupus, and I still have full combo and stopped their board. So this was just absolutely cracked. It was so good. This comes up quite a bit to where I made a Typhon quite a bit with this card, and it didn't give me game ever, but I did make a Zeus off the Typhon one time. Because of this, on my turn, on the follow-up, I was able to attack and then make a Zeus, and that gave me game. But overall, the main reason to summon the Typhon on here was just so this goes back to the grave and it prevents them from getting game. So like I would just activate this, I'd have a monster on board, they'd have to attack through this and keep me alive, and then this would go back to grave because it was just material. So then I have this live for my turn, and then I have a bunch of follow-up. So really this was just baiting interactions for me, and Typhon just baited interactions for me. But overall, in theory, it's very important to have a Typhon. Shout out to Steven, I'll get into that when we get into the extra deck. Next up, your other one of is the Force Release. This card put in mad work. This card is the absolute GOAT. The non-target pop is just so funny, and people forget about it too. So you activate this, and there's so many times where I had a Ripper on board, and then he tried to negate it or target it, and then I just chain this, and then I go over, and then I have a Werewolf, and then I non-target pop a card on the field. And this card saved me so many times. It was just absolutely absurd. One of my favorite cards inside the K9 strategy. Absolutely mandatory to play this card for sure. Next up, we have 2 Yugioh. Yugioh did absolutely phenomenal, guys. It was probably one of the best cards inside this engine as well. I mean, all these cards just work so well together, and Yugioh was just so great. But the main issue I had was if he stopped one scenario in particular, I had a Witch on board that got Emperor. My normal Yugioh was able to get the Lantern Search, but I had no way to get the Lantern out, which I'll just go ahead and reveal the 1 Lantern, and that is it for the K9 package. But I had no way to get the Yugioh to the grave and be able to use my Lantern's effect to revive the Yugioh in full combo because I had no SP inside my deck. So I literally had to end with a Yugioh and a Witch on board. And that right there, if I was able to have the Yugioh and go into a Ripper line, I would have had game right there. Like I would 100% had game. I would not have lost a single matchup. There were so many times where it came up where I had Yugioh on the field, I had a Lantern in my hand, I even had hand traps in my hand, but I couldn't normal Lantern because my opponent only had 1 card in their hand. So then I was just stuck with the Yugioh and the Lantern, Yugioh on field, Lantern in hand, and hand traps, where I could have normal summoned a hand trap, Wallace, whatever, linked them off into SP, and then full K9 comboed. So having an SP is so absolutely mandatory for this deck. It should have been in here. If I had SP, I 100% would have won that event. There's no doubt in my mind. As good as those players were, it's just those scenarios. There's a lot of times I was just bricked out because I couldn't get the Yugioh to grave. If I got the Yugioh to grave, they would have had no answer for me going into a Ripper and full comboing. So, and I would have had the additional interruption of an SP. So very important. I'll get over the card of what we're going to cut as we get into the extra deck. Next up for the non-engine
I was on 3 Peruli. This is where it changed a little bit for you guys. It's going to come up here. And 3 Fualos. With my matchups being majority Yummy and Draco Tail Peruli was absolutely horrible. I sided it out on every single Yummy and Draco Tail matchup, but Peruli also was the absolute GOAT inside my Mitsu matchup, my Mitsu Rai matchup, and my K9 matchup, and my VS K9 matchups. So Peruli needs to be inside your deck. I don't know if I want to main it further just because of how much Yummy is out there, how much Yummy is going to continue to be out there, and especially after the ban list and we get the new support for Yummy, I feel like Peruli is going to be less effective, but VS K9 will still be out there, other K9 variants will still be out there. I think Peruli might need to go into the side, but overall, for right now, for this tournament, it was phenomenal, it was fine. I just ended up siding it out on those matchups and it was okay. But again, like I said, you know, having just like an SP would have just saved me because I could have normal the Peruli and linked away, but it is what it is. The other thing is like I have so much non-engine here. I literally drew 1 starter and 4 non-engine, 4 different non-engine, and like I was going first and I was like, well, it was a case of K9, but I had a Fua. And I was like, I'm just going to pass because I have 3 other non-engine plus a Fua. I was like, I can just stop them and then go to my turn. So my Fua resolved. They tried to make a mid-board, but I had 3 other hand traps, drew into more engine and hand traps, and I just completely stopped them. And then my turn, I just cooked them with full combo because I had enough now. So Fua put in mad work for me. Fua is just a god card. This definitely needs to stay at 3 inside your main deck for sure. It was so good in every single matchup. There wasn't a single matchup that Fua was bad in. Next up, and the other thing is like I was also thinking I see a lot of non-engine, so if I was gonna play more starters like a Deception, a 3rd Jokul, and a Lantern, I'd most likely move the Perulias to the side. But for right now, I think this is perfectly fine as is. The only real correction I would make at the moment and test play again would be adding the SP. And then these 6 right here were the absolute MVP of all the hand traps. Ash is the best defensive card this format. It is great offensively. It is just so phenomenal. Protects you from Charmies. It stops crazy cards from resolving. Ash is just absolutely mandatory at 3. And then 3 Imperm. Imperm was a god card, especially into the K9 matchups, the VS matchups. You know, having a card that didn't activate inside hand is just so good. So you just stop them hard, and then they may have K9 cards that are just dead in their hand. So Imperm just performed absolutely phenomenal in those matchups, and these were definitely the best 6 out of all the hand traps. Fua being the 9. If you go 9, it would be Fua too. But Ash Imperm really just saved the day. There was a lot of times I just had an Imperm in hand. I just waited for my turn and Imperm to Herald, and then just full combo. Then here is the spice that I changed up from the previous list. I added in 2 Ogre, I cut down a Called By and a Nib to run 2 Nib and 2 Ogre. Nib put in mad work. I destroyed a lot of Yummy matchups with this, with them having Obedience School and me nibbing, and then me also having an additional hand trap to stop whatever else they tried to do after the fact. It was just wraps. They were locked into these, so it was such a great card. This card got me so many games, and it was so very impactful. Nib is just, I think 2 is the perfect ratio for Nib though. And then Ogre was also putting in work, and anytime I saw a combination of Nib plus Ogre, Nib plus Imperm, Nib plus Ash, like it was just wraps. I mean, it was just so good. It was so Nib plus literally any hand trap that we had. It was just so good. Ogre put in mad work. Right now, removal is just so key because we don't want them to link. You know, it stops a lot of crazy shenanigans your opponent can do to you. So absolutely great cards. I would not change this lineup at all. And then the last card, our 40th card, is Triple Tactics Talent. This card was glued to my hand for probably half the tournament, and I love that. The only good card that was glued to my hand. The other cards that were glued to my hand would have been, let's see where they at. This card was glued to my hand, and this card. I saw these guys so much, and I saw the 2 of them multiple times in my hand together, which was so funny, but I still was able to win. I was still able to pull it out because of the extra non-engine. You have so much non-engine in the deck, so you can just really grind out people, and then at that point you can just draw into engine because you have so many 1-card starters. So that is it for the main deck. It is a clean 40, guys. So we'll go ahead and get into the extra deck now for you. First up, the Azamina portion of the engine. We got Il Silva, Saint, Murcielago, Moa Regina, and Azamina. These are your Azamina cards for the deck. Every single one of them are important. Every single one of them came up, and they were so good. The MVPs of this deck would have been Murcielago and Saint. So many people forget about the third effect of Murcielago, where it's destroyed, you get another search. I had a lot of people destroy this card for me and gave me an additional search, which just made me push through their board even harder. So just absolutely phenomenal. Murcielago was just absolutely goated in those matchups. I had so many people also, had one person completely forget about the attack loss on it and just decided to go battle phase to attack into it. And I was like, all right. I was like, so that dies. So it was so cool. Like, this card just put in mad work. Saint Azamina was absolutely goated. If I left this on the board against my Yummy matchup, he had no out for it. He didn't play Typhon. And I would have just been able to sit on it and then keep drawing into the engine until I could kill him. But I got greedy and sacked it for sacked it for Azamina, and that made me lose. So that was a misplay on my part. But also having an SP would have prevented a lot of it too. But all these cards were phenomenal. Moa Regina came up quite a bit. I activated Slumber on my opponent's turn, booking their Cupsy after they did the Obedience School, and then I used Moa Regina's effect to pop the other two Yummies and just made them just like force defeat right there. They couldn't do anything through that. And then a funny interaction against a Draco Tail opponent is they weren't aware that Hallowed and Wanted could search out Vengeance, and then those two could make Saint. And so they wasted interaction. I had Saint on board. And then I activated Saint's effect to bring out Il Silva. And then I was like, anything here? I stopped them with my hand traps. And they just ended on a Malulu with some cards in hand. And I was like, anything here? He was like, no. And I was like, okay. So then I just sacked Saint Azamina and his Malulu. And he was like, what? How does that come out? And I was like, yeah, this is how a special summon. And then he's like, right there, he's like, damn. And I was like, all right, attack for game. And he's like, wait, how's that game? I was like, Il Silva doubles the damage. This is 4K, so that's 8K. He's like, so this engine caught a lot of people off guard. It was so good. Multiple people thought I was on White Force, and then when I brought out the K9 cards, it was just wraps. So absolutely phenomenal engine, guys. It was really, really powerful, really impactful. Go ahead and go into the XYZs. First off, we have the Zeus. Zeus got me multiple games, guys. This was just such an absolute phenomenal card. I made it 3 times. 2 times it gave me game. And I would not cut this card. It was very good. It's a hard threat to deal with. Next up is Typhon. Shout out to Steven. He was playing this deck as well. He was very interested in this build. He talked me into playing the Typhon, and it did come up, but not in the ways that we wanted it to. It came up in more of the fact that it was just an extra layer of interruption to my opponent to bait out some of their effects so I could full combo with other parts of my engine. And also the main reason was to protect my Lupus from getting vanished. I mean, that's the main reason I made it. So when they got rid of this card, my Lupus would be back in grave for my turn. So absolutely mandatory to play Typhon. Werewolf was the GOAT. This got me so many games. Being able to rip a card from my opponent's hand was just phenomenal. And then obviously the force release, being able to destroy a card non-target is just so good. So Werewolf, very important. Definitely need to run this if you're playing the K9 variant. This right here though, this was the worst card in my deck. I made it once, I had the ability to make it twice. Guys, Paradise is not good inside our deck. It is good inside VS because they have other level 5s. In order for us to make it, we need a 28% chance of seeing Joko, and then we have a 39% chance of seeing Azuna in our hand with a 40 card deck and a 5 card draw. All right, so the overall chances of seeing both of them together is about like an 18% chance. Naturally, you can combine like a case too, but that's pushing it, right? But so the overall chance is like around 18%. And even then, if you do that, you overextend to get into this guy, you don't have any follow-up. This deck is so grindy, like you need to have follow-up. I made this against a VS player, and I should have made Ripper, and if I made Ripper and had SP, I would have had game against them because I would have had extra follow-up. Making this guy made me have no follow-up. So this card was bad. I did not like it. This is what I would cut for SP. This 100% should be SP. this is a phenomenal card. It should definitely get banned, but inside this deck where it's so grindy, we're not playing that many level 5s like VS, so we need to have cards that are actually going to help us continue to push and be grindy and give us extra follow-up. So making Ripper and having SP to get our Joker engraved, that is just so important. So getting rid of this is definitely the move. This should be SP. Next up, we got the C104 package here with the Nash Knight. This is one of my favorite packages right here. The Nash Knight put in the most work. I made him about 3 times. I made him into Zeus once, which just made me get game. I mean, those 4 material Zeus, absolutely disgusting. Nash Knight came up so many times. I made Nash Knight more, and then I just would use 104, and then on my turn I use C104 and take another one of their monsters. There's so many times I kept using Nash Knight. It was just so phenomenal, and I just literally just used these guys to just keep stealing their monsters, so then I could just play through them. So this package was absolutely really good. C104, I would not change this at all. I was thinking about playing the Psychic level 5 because he's actually pretty cracked, but overall I wouldn't change this. This burn effect did come up 1 time for me in the removal from hand, so it was really good. When it goes off, it goes off. So just a phenomenal card, and definitely want to play that package. And then last but not least, 2 Ripper. 2 Ripper is perfect. This is the perfect ratio. I never needed 3, but I always needed 2. So you should not be on 1 Ripper, you should definitely be on 2 Ripper. 2 Ripper always comes up. One time I made a Ripper, they negated it. I made a second Ripper, and then I used Force Release for the negated Ripper to go into Werewolf. So it was so good. Like, this card was just so cracked and so phenomenal all tournament. Definitely one of my favorite cards inside the extra deck. We'll go ahead and get into the side deck now, guys. So obviously, first up, I still fear Malice. Malice is still out there. I was literally at a table, at the top tables, and I had a Malice mirror match right next to me. So if I face the Malice, I wanted to be prepared, and you guys should be prepared as well. Until the ban list comes out, play these cards. Until we know Malice isn't going to be a threat, you need to play Lancia. And it's also good against the Christian K9 variant too, but you definitely need to be prepared if you face a Malice, because it is still out there and is still pretty much full power. Next up, the GOAT. This was probably the best side card I had going second. This is what I usually would trade in the Perulias for, or maybe I would trade in the Hallowed Deception and then an Azuna or a Witch, and then I put in these 3. Valor came up so much and it stopped so much crap from happening, and it was just such a phenomenal card. I almost want to main it, but it's so good in the side, and I think it's perfect in the side. Next up, Droll. Again, shout out to Steven. He got me scared of Mitsu Rai before the tournament, so I just quickly changed my deck list, took out the strikes, and then I added in 3 Droll. And I'm glad I did, because I did end up facing a Mitsu Rai, and I won game 1, and we went into game 2. I Drolled him, and I had full inboard, so it was just wraps from there. So Droll's just a god card right now. And again, this is the same thing with Lancia. Until we get a ban list, until these decks get answered, this is a god card and it needs to be somewhere inside your deck. So we're kind of tight when it comes to the extra deck. If you don't have it room in the main deck, you're also tight in the extra deck right now until we get an answer for this format. All right, the sauce for going first and also partial second. 2 Ghost Spell, 1 Called By, and then 3 Solemn Judgments. Solemn Judgment was a god card. Every time I saw this card, I won the game. And then Ghost Spell was just absolutely crazy into Yums. Same thing, I'd get rid of a Hallowed and Deception, and I just put in the 2 Ghost Spell, and then I'd most likely get rid of the 3 Perulia and put in 3 Feck Veiler when it came to Yummy. And then this was also phenomenal against Draco Tail as well. I only saw Called By once against the Mitsu Rai guy, and he drolled me and I called by it. That was the only time I ever saw it, and it worked out perfect. But overall, Judgment was phenomenal. I'm definitely not taking this card out at all. I think this is really great in this format, especially with the amount of spells and traps being activated. So I love this card right now. And then Ghost Spell is really good on the side. I think this is the perfect ratio of 2 and then just a Called By, just because this helps you going first. I'll side these cards in going first as well. I take out the 6 Charmies and put in these 6 going first, because this helps you answer the Azuna and Lupus, the Lupus, and then this just helps you answer just like getting Called By, so much stuff, man. I mean, Belgis is so interactive and it's so good going first too. So like, this is definitely good inside the, for going first, and it's a lot better than having a Charmy in hand, that's for sure. So would not change these. But that is it for the deck profile, guys. Let me know what you guys think. shout me out in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.
All right, y'all, so that was my K9 Azamina deck profile. I hope you guys loved it. I hope you guys like it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Let me know if you guys will make any change. I love hearing all your feedbacks. And it just means a lot to me. You know, it means a lot to me. I appreciate all the support. I'm really trying to bring a creative community, because we really have gotten to the point in this format where we can be creative, guys. And I mean that truly, because I'm gonna keep experimenting. Right now I'm working on a Snake Eyes K9 combo right now, all right? Snake Eyes K9 deck, all right? So that's coming on your way pretty soon here. All right, we got Mitsu K9 that I'm thinking about too. Because that's just crazy. I mean, playing these engines where your opponents know what's going to happen. You know, people still got PTSD from Snake Eyes. You know, they're going to interact with those cards. They interact with those cards, guess what happens? K9 gets turned on, right? So same thing with Mitsu. People are going to interact with the Mitsu cards. If they don't interact with the Mitsu cards, they're kind of cooked, you know? But if they do interact, well, they just activated your K9 card. So, you know, lots of stuff to experiment with out there, you know, lots of builds to experiment. I'm also going to be doing my own take on VSK9, because I believe everybody is building this deck wrong. I don't think 3 Jiaolongs is correct. I think Triff also said it right, that it should just be 1 Jiaolong, but I highly disagree with Triff in the fact that I think everybody's underestimating how powerful these K9 cards are, and all these K9 cards are 1-card starters. So like, if they don't stop these 1-card starters, you're gonna have full K9 combo and massive amounts of follow-up, and especially with the new K9 support. So I think that's where I'm gonna be relying heavier onto the K9 engine than I am the VS engine, and I will show you guys my take on VS K9 for you guys out there that wanna go to an event with just pure meta. And you know, it's a little bit roguish of the take, but you know, when it comes to deck building, I'm A1 with it. As you can see, you know, 9th place with a completely original idea. I mean, it would have been 8th, and it would have been the whole entire event if I had the SP, but it is what it is, guys. We're gonna get the next one. Next one, I will win it, and I will win it with an original deck by yours truly, and bring in some sauce, all right? But you know, and a lot of other people, you know, that like to diss and everything too. Please remember, I came back into the game during heavy Snake Eyes format, pure, uninterrupted Snake Eyes format. All right, before that, the last time I touched Yu-Gi-Oh cards and cardboard was back in 2010 when tele-dad was fighting with Gladiator Beast for the top spot. All right, like actually it was probably like 09 when I quit, 09, 10, somewhere around there. But so that I had 10 to 12 years of catching up to do, maybe more, I don't know, but 10 to 12 years of card knowledge that I was missing when I first came back in the games. And I started off with Snake Eyes. I fell in love with the Snake Eyes engine, which made me fall in love with the Azamina portion, Witch, and all of that. And then Fiendsmith came out, fell in love with that. And then Azamina kept getting in sport, really fell in love with it. I love the Fiendsmith Azamina engines. I love the Snake Eye engine. I think they're all phenomenal. And then these new cards that just came out just brought it over the top, because all of these engines are so small, so compact, but they can do so much damage on their own, and they can be combined together to make masterpieces. Primite, Azamina, K9, Fiendsmith, all these engines can just be thrown together and mixed into other options. Mitsu, all these engines can be mixed, and it's so cool, the unique ideas we can do, especially if we come together as a community to build this. But now that I have this card knowledge up, now that I have these game mechanics down packed, you know, I'm going to win these events, you know, and I will win the next YCS for sure. 100%, there's not a doubt in my mind, you know. I mean, I might have to bring some meta with me. I do want to bring a meta rogue option though to do my best, but you know, I'm topping with a meta rogue like K9 Azamina. I think that would be absolutely amazing. And I think with the one adjustment made to this deck, I think it can absolutely do that. But I'm going to keep building other decks, because I know some people love my K9 Azamina build, but other people like the Fiendsmith Primite. Other people want to see these other options like the Snake Eyes K9, you know. Everybody wants to see something different. I love cooking up these builds. I love deck building. You know, I'm an Edison player at heart, so you know, I love the strategy of deck building, but I also love the new mechanics of this advanced format. And I think advanced format has just kind of reverted in some ways to the Edison way of life, with deck building being very important. And if you have a strong deck building foundation and you are a great pilot with the engines, I think you can absolutely win an event, and I am going to prove that. You know, I didn't get a chance to prove it at this event, but hopefully this 9th place spot proves to you guys that it will come. So this is something that is very important, and I really want to get this done, and I really want to grow this community. I love seeing all the creative people out there, man. I can't stress that enough, because there's so many intelligent minds that are just afraid to speak up, just like, hey, I think this is a cool tech. Sometimes that cool tech could be the next meta. You have no idea, So like the originality from you guys, the creativity, guys, like I want to keep seeing that. So please keep doing that. And if you love this channel and if you love building this community, like, comment, subscribe. Let's keep growing. And as we grow, I will start doing some giveaways as we hit certain markers, like some of the other YouTubers. Right now, I'm in talks with Fresh Off the Press community. I might do a market watch with him. That's my dog. Shout out Jay. He's a really cool dude. I met him at both the YCSs that I went to. But I'm talking with him. Hopefully we can do a collab soon and show you guys some of the markets, because I watch that regularly as well. And I do my own research through the OCG to see what cars are going to pick up. So, it's going to be real fun to do a market watch with him as well. So lots are coming this way, guys, and please stay tuned. And if you got friends that might be interested in this stuff, hit them up, let them know, share the vid, get the word out there, because I'm trying to build this community. I promise you guys, I'll never sell you a spreadsheet. Believe me, I believe in selling spreadsheets. I think that's fantastic if you want to invest the money and do it, but I'm going to give you the information for free from me. I'm going to show you guys combo lines, because I want to just build a creative community, and not everybody can afford the Cars Plus doing stuff like that, so I'm going to do my best to help you guys out in those ways and give you guys as much combo information, as much deck building ideas as possible. So with that being said, y'all stay blessed, and let's look forward to the next one.